All right, welcome to another Coffee and Conversation. And the question we were talking about at lunch today was men being caught off guard about when their women are unhappy.
One thing that I hear a lot is women asking, why did he have to wait so long to try to rectify things? I'm already done.
And first off, the question is, did they actually tell him or did they hint?
Yeah.
That is a common problem with women, is they tend to hint.
And they think they're being direct.
Yes. And so did you really communicate the issue?
Right.
What was your next question to me?
Oh, let me see if I can remember. My memory is really crap. I don't remember. You obviously know.
It was, why do guys not take it serious?
Right. Why don't you take it serious if she's communicated clearly and been very upfront, which I recognize is not the common case, but
Right.
Why then would someone not take it
It's
seriously?
like regular hot versus Thai hot. We think it's a phase. We think it'll right itself. It's just a busy time. We don't realize to her it might be approaching 7 or 8 on a scale of 10. We think it's a 3 or 4. And we're not thrilled with everything, but we love her and we're not going to go anywhere. You know, I can honestly say I remember telling somebody for my first divorce, this is a year or two, year before, I wasn't thrilled the way things were, but I said I had it better than 80% of guys and I had 2 kids. I wasn't going to ask for a divorce.
Yeah.
So that kind of, now I had asked to go to marriage counseling. And she said, no, everything is fine. Now, I was a moron and didn't do anything. That's a whole different issue. Fine. I should have been like, oh, God, my marriage is in trouble. I was like, yes, I don't have to go to marriage counseling. But I knew something wasn't right deep down. I did not think it was to that level.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the problem with most men is we don't think it's a 7 or an 8. We think it's a 1, 2, or 3. And she's just unhappy, or it's a phase, or she's frustrated with other stuff, and it'll all kind of settle back out.
I think a lot of women tend to be overly cautious sometimes when telling their partners that there's a problem because they don't want to be seen as a nag or a harpy or whatever it is.
Well, we did a video on emotional safety. You've got to be able to have the conversation with your spouse, even the uncomfortable ones, without feeling like you're going to be shamed, criticized. There'll be contempt, stonewalling, the 4 horsemen. And if you can't have that kind of communication, you already have a problem. I've done a video where there's a statistic that 81% of men who don't take their wife's input, it's my way or the highway, they make decisions, end up divorced. But when things are challenging or there's some disagreement, 65% of those men go back to the 4 horsemen. And that is more damaging because if she doesn't feel that she can bring stuff to you because you respond so negatively, think about it.
Yeah.
You really are having far deeper issues. He doesn't realize it's that bad because you've tolerated it in some cases.
And that is very true.
And so it's gone on. And then we're like, she's complaining about stuff from 10 years ago. What the hell?
And that goes into the bid for connection because when she's complaining about things from 10 years ago, what she's really saying is, I feel unsafe, I feel insecure, I'm unhappy, I want connection.
And there's where you have the chance to move the relationship forward and do some repairing. You got to recognize the bids for connection and you've got to embrace them. If you respond with the 4 horsemen, if you get defensive, if you
stonewall,
or how about if you criticize, or you always say stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
She's not going to bring these things to you, and then she's going to hit a point where instead of being unhappy, she's going to start making the exit plan. And in her mind, and you can argue rightfully so if you have a guy you're not emotionally safe with, that marriage was dead long before, probably long before the 2 years when you started working on the exit plan. And then there's a lot of variables, but we know there's a 2-year kind of clock going on in the relationship.
And I know that you talk to guys about how to help her regain that sense of safety, how to create that sense of safety. Do you, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What kind of thing would you say to a woman who's on the other side of it, where she hasn't felt safe for a long time, and he's trying, but he's not there yet?
If you see that he's trying and he's not there yet, I'm a little biased. Our guys are top 5 to 10%, because the bottom quarter, the bottom third are never going to try. They're going to use phrases like, that bitch, she never.
Yeah.
They're the ones that talk about, fuck her. And every relationship since their divorce has ended the same way at about 15 months.
And it's all their fault.
It's always her fault.
Right.
Our guys, we talk about, where did you screw up? Where can you improve? Now, the problem is, they're actually sometimes doing a better job than the women realize, but the women have seen 12 or 15 years of a behavior pattern. And now they've flipped the switch, and in 2 months, they're like doing great. They still don't trust them.
Yeah.
And ladies, if you're watching this and you're a woman, that's okay. It takes 2 to 3 months, typically, because how can I trust that the change is real? And here's why. The guys we work with, we explain, you can't do this work to save your marriage. You can't do this work to make her happy. You have to do it for yourself, to save yourself and improve yourself. And those changes stick.
Yeah.
The dirty little secret is, I said, do you know why you promised you'd change? You changed for 2 months, you slid back to your old ways. And he's like, no, you didn't want to change. You wanted to shut her up and her nagging.
Yeah.
And guys are like,
the receiving end of that one.
Yeah.
Not from you.
Yeah. But here's the thing. They just wanted it to stop.
Yeah.
And they meant well, but they couldn't sustain it because their heart wasn't in it.
Right.
Now they're making these changes, and it's like, where the hell has this been for 15 years?
Yeah.
But they also have had the awakening that they've been sleepwalking through life, and they need to level up for themselves. Now, the beneficiaries of them improving themselves is a better relationship with their spouse, better relationship with their kids, and better performance at work, almost 100% across the board. Now, the spouse may still opt out. Those guys end up being just fine, because all the women want the guys who've worked on themselves.
Yeah.
And if you got a guy who's working with himself and you're not completely done, be a little patient, ladies, because I'm telling you, you got a good one there. And we're going to stub our toe and fuck up sometimes. But if you see the track record of really good improvement.
If you see him making effort, like real, genuine effort to improve, give it one more shot.
Yeah.
One more chance to see if it's really real this time. Because when they're working with these men, these coaches, they're making the effort to improve themselves, not to shut you up. Mm-hmm. And, it's just, like Dennis said, it's going to stick that way.
You don't want to be one of the women who says you're going to make somebody else really happy. Let's try to give it a chance to turn it around, because once you get past the disillusionment stage of marriage, life is pretty good.
Right.
All right. Thanks for listening today. Have a great week.